So I went to the thread station and I cut off 7 pieces of thread that are all the same length. So what you want to do when you're done cutting off all of your thread is bring it back to your table and then just double check, count all of those pieces of thread and make sure that you've got 7. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That means I'm ready to go. The first step of getting your bracelet started is to tie a knot at the bottom. What you want to do is you want to pull like that much string to the side and then make a circle with your string. If you make your circle with not very big of a tail, it's going to be harder to tie it into a knot. So make sure the tail that's hanging off is kind of big. Then you're going to put your tail underneath the circle, and then you're going to pull your tail through the circle. And then you've got 2 sides that you can pull down together, and that makes a knot. Now that knot might not be big enough to stop the bottom part of the bracelet from going through that hole. So I'm going to go ahead and make a second knot just so that it's a little bit bigger. I'm going to make a circle, make sure I've got my tail on the other side of the circle, put the tail underneath the circle, and then pull my tail through the circle. And I want to make sure those 2 knots end up together, so I'm kind of pushing them together as I tighten it. If you get a knot that isn't right next to the knot that you made, if the knot ends up over here, that's okay. You can just tie another knot and push that knot down as you tighten it so that it ends up together. You'll get there eventually. Now that I've got a knot, I'm ready to string it through my hole, and I'm noticing that that hole is kind of small for me to get all this string through. So I'm gonna go ahead and just make it a little bit bigger by taking my scissors and kind of opening up that hole by spinning my scissors in a circle. Now that's gonna be a little bit easier. What we're gonna do is a trick to get all of those strings through. I'm gonna put the strings underneath the hole, and then I'm gonna use my pencil to pull those strings up. Right now it looks like I've got a few of them, but I don't have all of them. I don't have the blue or the purple yet. So I'm gonna pull these strings out of the way so I can see what I'm looking for and kind of push the blue and the purple strings in the middle. Ah, there we go, then I got them. Now that I've got all those strings through the hole, I can pull the other end, and I'm getting the whole thing to go through. And my knot is at the very back. So I'm pulling it so that the knot is right next to the cardboard. For the very beginning, we're going to use a little piece of tape to hold that knot in place. So I'm just gonna put a little piece of tape right over the knot. If you put a big piece of tape over the knot, it's gonna cover up those little lines that you cut. And you don't want that to happen. You're gonna need those lines. So just a little piece to hold the knot for a while. You'll take it off once you start to make your bracelet. The next step is for me to take all of these strings and just tuck them into their spot. And I'm trying to do this in a way where the strings don't get tangled up with each other. So I'm kind of taking my time. I pull the string out and then I give it a home. All right, now I've got all of my string in a line, and I've got one empty space, and I'm gonna put that empty space at the bottom so that it's facing my body, right? The first step for weaving is that I'm gonna look on my left-hand side. It makes an L. That's how I know it's my left-hand side. And I'm gonna count up 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna take that third string and I'm gonna pull it all the way out so it's separate from all the other strings, and then I'm gonna pull it down into that empty spot. Next, I'm gonna comb out the tail, and I'm gonna put the empty spot, the new empty spot, facing my body at the very bottom. I'm gonna go to the left-hand side and count up 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna pull that one all the way out, and I'm gonna put it at the very bottom in the empty spot. Then I'm gonna comb my tail all the way out, all the way down with my fingers. That step is super important. If you don't comb it in between each time, then it's gonna get really tangled. It's gonna be a pain in the neck to undo all of those knots. Then I'm gonna take my new empty spot and turn it so that it's at the bottom, it's facing my body. I'm gonna go to the left-hand side and I'm gonna count up 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna take out that string. I'm gonna pull it all the way out, and I'm gonna move it so that it's in the empty spot. Then I'm gonna comb out my tail, move the empty spot down to the bottom so it's facing me, and I'm gonna repeat that same thing again. Count up 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna take that string and move it all the way out, and then hook it down at that bottom spot. I would just keep repeating those steps again and again and again and again. And it's not gonna look like, right now, it doesn't really look like that much has happened. But with this other one that I've been working on, you can see that the more time you put in and the more you repeat those steps very carefully, taking your time, making sure that you're counting up the right amount, making sure you're untangling everything, the more that you do that, it's gonna start building a beautiful bracelet. So this is one that I've been working on for about a week, maybe 2 weeks, and it is really starting to come together. Keep doing your weaving, and then once you've used up almost all of your string, if you have like that much string left, you can come and show your teacher. Once you're down to about 6 or 4 inches, come and show your teacher, and you will find out what the next step is to turn it into a bracelet.